Good evening. Thank you for coming to tonight's melt session. Tonight we will be doing a hand and a foot treatment. We will also be focusing primarily on the upper body or upper back and neck and shoulders. We tend to get slumped over as we sit or when we're in stress, we pull in. So I want to invite you to be able to connect a little deeper into the back, neck, and shoulders and see how the indirect can affect the direct changes of the body. So you may notice some differences in the hips, the ankles, and the feet, maybe the back of the hamstrings by the time we're done. I do hope you have a great night tonight, and I do hope that after you finish this, you have a great night's sleep as well. All right, let's start with that standing assessment. Feet together, look down at those feet, make sure you have an even balance and base of support underneath your feet. If your feet are a little wider, that's fine, so maybe about hips width apart, because you want to see where you put your balance. If you're too narrow, you tend to kind of tip. If you're too wide, then you have too big of a base of support. So go ahead and put those feet together. Let the shoulders drop down by your side. And then take a nice long even breath. Good, so you're just trying to figure out and feel where your body is settled. Notice where the weight is distributed. Close your eyes and let yourself go inside. Feel the weight on the bottom of the feet. Notice if the weight is shifted towards the toes or towards the heels. Notice if one side feels longer than the other, maybe even. Taking your attention up into your calves and the back of your knees. Notice if your knees and calves feel pulled back. Taking a fully attention up into your quadriceps, your glutes, and your hamstrings to notice if you feel gripped or tightened, and if you can take a breath and release the area. And then just take a nice long even breath. Lift up all 10 toes and notice the shift in weight. And then drop all 10 toes and notice if you have a wide shift to one side or the other. Good. Go ahead and open your eyes. Grab that large softball. We'll place it underneath the first foot. You can start on your right or your left and just begin to shift back and forth and find that even balance underneath your foot. Kind of notice where your body shifts to. Good, go ahead and pause, press that foot down. Take your arms up over your head. Keep your knees nice and soft. Roll yourself forward, roll yourself up. Rotate around the midline of your body. Take your arms up over your head and then back down. Let's do position point pressing with the soft ball. Go ahead and place the ball underneath the big toe knuckle and then release, and then underneath the second toe and release, and third and fourth and fifth. Moving the ball to position point 3 at the base of the arch. So it's down nice and low, press in, shift that foot around in there, and then come up, and then behind the knuckle of the big toe. Big, you've got a big joint there, or sorry, big muscle and ligaments into there. So just get right into that space. And then to position point 4 on the outside edge of the foot, the lateral arch of the foot. And then to position point 5, press in, take a nice big breath, step your weight back into your other foot and begin to just move that ball side to side. So remember, with the large soft ball, it's investigating, it's consistency with pressure, and it's evenness. So you're not trying to go quick in the motion, you're trying to find, you're trying to prepare. Back to the arch, one more time back to the heel, and then again back to the arch again. Pause at that arch, put a little weight on that foot, and begin to shear that ball underneath that foot. And then pause, let the tissue respond. Hi, if you guys are joining us, ball underneath the big toe knuckle and press back to your heel. To the second toe knuckle, press to your heel. To the third, to your heel. Fourth, to your heel. And fifth, press, and then go to your heel. And let's go friction. Just allow that leg just to be nice and easy. Try not to over control the ball or your leg for that matter. And then pause. Just bring your feet together, find balance and evenness on both feet. And then let's take the ball to the same ball, the large softball, to the other foot. Shifting back and forth, keep the weight balance relatively even. You may already notice that the one foot feels different than the other. You may have to have different tolerable pressure on this foot. Pause, keep your weight balance even. Arms are up, arms are down. Inhale, roll forward, and then roll up, and then back down again. Stepping back with your free leg, move that ball to the big toe knuckle, press down, and release. Second and third. So you're pushing up against those knuckles to release the pressure inside the joint itself to position point 4 at the back end of that big ligament, at the top end of that ligament, and then outside to the outside edge of that foot, kind of press in and out a little bit, and to position point 5. Place a little bit more weight there and begin to move that ball back and forth. Nice and even. Bring the ball back to the arch, position point 5. One more pass to the heel, and then back to the arch again. Again, place a little bit more weight on that position point 5, and let's go with nice tight shearing. If you can hear the ball or it's moving vigorously too much, that's too big of a movement. It should be a tight, small movement. Pause. And then release, and then let's rinse. Knuckle to heel. Just like on the hands, we go knuckles to nail. 2 more. And last one. And then let's just do some friction. Roll that foot. Make sure that you have light touch on that ball. It can go all over the place. Good. And then pause. Just find your rebalance on both feet again. If you want, close the eyes. Lift up all 10 toes. Drop all 10 toes. Notice if you stay a little bit more solid. And then exhale. Let's start with the large firm ball. Bring the ball back onto the center of the foot. So you're taking that large firm ball on the first foot and you're shifting back and forth. Press down as best you can, but you're not trying to overload the movement. Just one more, and then let's move the ball right back to position point 5. So from position point 5, let's go nice and even, side to side. Bring the heel to the right and the heel to the left. So if I turn, maybe you can see a little bit easier that ball coming out of the side of my foot. Let's do one more pass all the way to the back of the heel. You might have noticed some barriers, some little sticky spots in there, a gremlin head or something like that. Pause right up against that spot and shear against that spot. Pause and hold, let the tissue respond. We're going to move the ball to one more spot, so go back and forth over the ball. You might have another spot. It might be you can do the same spot again if you want. I found another spot over on this side, and I'm going to shear on the outside edge of my foot this time. Pause and let the tissue respond, and then just rinse. Rinse, 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 and rinse. And friction. And then pause. Just bring those feet to parallel just for a moment to reset the system. And let's take the ball to the last foot, second side. Again, press into the ball, very center of the foot, not on the heel. Press down, try to find tolerable pressure in a tolerable location. Breathing, press down, release. Allow the kind of that pressure to open and close. Pause, and take that ball right back to position point 5 and begin that gliding. So because when you do the large soft ball, you prepare the tissue, you allow the tissue to kind of get ready to go. You might open up some things that you wouldn't have been ready for if you just jumped into that large firm ball. Back to the arch. And then let's pause. Find a spot. You've got probably some barriers, some blocks, some rocks, some pieces of glass in there. Don't go on top of it. Go to the side of it. And then let's shear right up against that spot. On this one, it's on the inside edge of my foot. And then pause. Let the tissue respond. Good. And then let's do it again. Go back and forth over the ball. That little spot on my foot's a bugaboo today. Pause, and again, shear. Whew. And then pause. Let the tissue respond. And then let's rinse again. Rinse, 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 rinse. One more time, and rinse. And then let's do our friction on that foot. Friction on that second foot that you were just on. Friction on the first foot. One more time on the second foot. We tend to start on the foot that we are most comfortable with and feel like that we have the most control on. So doing this double friction is a nice. And you don't have to have your hands on your back. You can place your hands by your side. I saw that. All right, go ahead and place those feet together and just look back down at those feet. They just may be very alive, feeling all the way up into the legs. Hands down by your side. Take a nice deep breath and exhale. Good. Just take that assessment up the legs. Notice your feet. They may feel very grounded into the ground. Your hips, your glutes may feel steady, not gripped, but full. Like one solid piece up instead of pieces of leg attached. Good. Lift up all 10 toes. Drop all 10 toes. Good. And then just inhale, arms up. And exhale, arms down. Good. So let's get on the ground and we're going to do a hand treatment. So come all the way to the ground. We're just going to use the large soft ball. We're not going to do both. So just using the large soft ball. But I want you to do your test with your hands on the ground. So place your hands apart from each other, a little bit wider than maybe shoulders distance with your thumbs facing each other. And just notice what the thumbs look like. Are the thumbs turned down towards the ground? Or are they more rolled towards the ceiling? Or do your thumbs point, the nail of your thumb point towards your knees? Ideally, your thumb would be more rolled towards the ceiling. Mine is rolled in a little bit. Ideally, your thumb would be would almost be pointing up towards the ceiling. From there, just begin to start shifting your weight into your hands and then shift your weight back. You don't have to spread your hand out hard. Just bring your weight towards your hands and bring your weight back. And again, bring your weight towards your hands and bring your weight back. Turn your hands out more like 10 and 2. Again, bring your weight towards your hands. Notice where it happens in your thumbs and wrists. And again, and then bring your hands back. Feel the wrist tightening, the forearms, and then I want you to see if you can bend the elbows. See if you can really get into those elbows at all. So if you can see my elbows, they're bending a little bit. My left elbow bends better than my right elbow. And I'm not really doing much to do it. I'm just allowing my elbow to bend, which means I've got a lot of give down those forearms. Good. And then go ahead and pause. And then just roll the wrist to relax them a little bit. Good. Go ahead and take the ball in your hands. Let's do the thumbs together and move that ball side to side. Remember, you can put that ball on the ground and go side to side as well. But this is just a nice convenient way to move the ball back and forth, and then pause. And then that's just friction up and down on the pad of the hand. Pause, and then let's rinse the first hand, knuckle to nail. And then one more pass, thumb, index finger, middle, ring, and pinky. Let's do the other hand. Knuckle to nail, pinky to thumb, or thumb to pinky, whatever works better for you. Remember, as you're going down the back side of one hand, you're getting the palm of the other hand. So go down to the wrist. Get that movement down into the wrist a little bit. So let's do friction on the first hand, and then friction on the second hand, and then one more time, friction on the first hand and friction on the second hand. All right, put that ball down. Both hands out in front. Look at the thumb, see if you've got any roll more in that thumb up, and then shift your weight forward again and back. And just feel if that feels a little bit easier. Turn your hands slightly out towards more like 10 and 2. See if that tension released just a tiny bit. And then turn your hands back, and then bend the elbows. Notice my right elbow's bending a lot more this time. That's pretty cool, actually. Bend your elbows. I'm not doing anything different. I'm just bending my elbows. Good, and then come back up. Good. Roll the wrists. Good. Good, and move the fingers around. Good. Go ahead and put the balls out of the way, and then let's get ready to get on the roller. I'm going to turn the sound off. All right. So let's come onto the roller. Let's get onto the ground, and we're going to do our rest assess. So laying back on the back. Since we just did a full hand and a full leg treatment, we may feel more balanced as far as our reflexive balance goes. So that's a really great thing to notice. If just first off, you can just take your attention ankle to nose or ankle to ear and notice, oh, I feel pretty balanced right and left. Not one side is super long than the other. Then the next thing to just notice is how all the masses hit the ground. Do your head mass, shoulders, your ribs, hips, calves, feet feel evenly loaded, just in general, more so than just when you get down on the ground. And then really interesting also, do your palms feel like they're more evenly weighted to the ground? I love doing a hand treatment first and then getting in and feeling the shoulders just being more settled. They may feel like they've been worked slightly, but they may just let go, and the thumbs may open up a little bit easier onto the ground as well. So now that you've noticed the masses, let's notice the spaces. How's the space behind the neck? Does it feel dropped in or pushed back into the ground? Does the space between the shoulder blades seem high and like all your weight's on your shoulder blades? Or does it feel weighted evenly on the middle of your back? Taking a focused breath into your rib wall, do you feel that wailing back arch, or do you feel nice and even down to your navel and the small arch going to your pelvis? Do you notice if your knees are off the ground, the back of your knees feel plumped up, or do they feel sunk into the ground? And then do your ankles feel like they're touching the ground, or are they actually touching the ground? Slide the feet in so the shins are vertical, taking an awareness kind of just of how your body's feeling. Just let's rest your hands on your head. We're going to start with some even diaphragmatic breathing. I want your tongue at the roof of the mouth, and I want your mouth closed as you breathe into your belly, rib cage, and back. And we'll do about 5 deep breaths without being on the roller. Exhaling deep in through the nose. Make a resonating sound so you can almost hear it echoing like Darth Vader in your ears. If you don't know what Darth Vader sounds like, look it up after class. Couple more breaths. And then I'm just going to have you draw your chin to your sternum, pick your head up and look towards your navel, and then roll your head back. Chin to your sternum, look down towards your navel, pick your head up, and then roll your head back. Look towards the ceiling behind you. Look down your nose, chin towards your sternum, pick your head up and roll your head back. Look back behind you with your eyes and tip your chin. One more, pick your head up and then lower your head back. All right, let's get on that roller and see how that is. Connected into the breath, vestibular system. Hike one cheek up, nice and tall. Lift yourself up and lay right on that roller. If you're not there, you can drop off, slide down, and bring yourself right back up onto that roller. Arms are wide, hands are down. Bring those feet in so they're in line with the hips and begin gentle rocking right and left. And just feel that. It may feel connected to you now. If you feel disturbed, disconnected, wobbly, then just go and get off the roller. It's okay, and come back on in a second. Try to do some more head nods or head turns to get your equilibrium more set, your vestibular system more connected. Remember, you're rocking from side to side. You're not moving the roller, you're rolling over the roller. Go ahead and pause in the center, take a focused breath. Exhaling, take your hands, thumbs at your navel, rib cage down, and then begin to tuck your pelvis and tilt. And tuck and tilt, tuck and tilt. Let the rib cage settle and just allow the pelvis to do the movement. If you want to add more breath, inhale. As you exhale, tuck. Inhale. As you exhale, tilt. Pause, hold there. Slide your hands to the rib wall. Elbows touch the ground. Let the shoulders soften back. Breathe so you can feel your hands being pressed away by the expanding of the rib wall. Exhaling. Inhale to expand. Exhaling. One more deep breath. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, just open those arms wide, but not all the way to the ground. So you're kind of in a big W with the center of the body being kind of the center of the W. Hands are out wide. You may be feeling a stretch into the shoulders, and then let's take that stretch to some tensional pull as you reach the arms wide as if you're holding a ball on your belly, and then bring the elbows back in till they touch the ground, and then reach out. And then bring the elbows in, and then reach out. The key here is just to keep the arms below the shoulder line, but imagine that you're expanding and reaching from the center of the chest outward. So you're opening up your chest. You're opening up that heart line. Breathing. Reach out and back in. One more time. Reach out all the way out. Bring your fingertips together over your navel, and then begin to take your right arm overhead and then left arm overhead. Right arm ends down just about the middle of your thigh and then over your head.
no lower than your ear. Again, if you feel shrugging in your shoulders, then you're working too hard or moving too fast, possibly. Just allow those arms to move evenly. And again, you're not trying to find pain. You're not trying to move into pain. Once more, right arm and left. Let the rib cage sink back into the roller. Bring both arms in line with the navel, kind of out in front of you. Bend both hands to the top of the shoulder and begin a double elbow circle around. So your elbows are going towards your head and then around, but not below the line of the body. Circle and feel the glenohumeral joint move. Once more, circle up and around. Good. Let's go the other direction just for cause and see if there's less clicking, cracking, or popping there. 2 more. And last one. Pause here and hold. Extend the arms out, fingertips to the ground. Slightly lift the chin up so the nose is pointing towards the ceiling. Reach into that right arm and turn the head to the left shoulder. Nice and long, so you feel that length all the way from the base of the ear down maybe into the forearm. Relax though, don't try to tighten up, don't try to get muscular on this thing, just reach. Inhale, bring your head center, and then turn your head to your right arm as you reach through the left, the left arm. So your head, is turned to your right. Your left arm is reaching out at that diagonal away from the center line of the body. Breathe. Inhale, bring your head back to center and relax the arms. Just settle there for a second. You can do some gentle rocking for a moment. And then we're going to do an upper back rib pull. So you're going to take your arms wide, reach those arms around like you're going to reach for your scapula. If that's too far, you can always just take your hands to the tops of your shoulders. So reach around if you can. If not, just take your hands to your shoulders. On this move, sink the chin into the sternum first and level the pelvis so you're not arched in the back. Your pelvis feels pretty level on the roller. As you you're going to take a big deep breath. As you curl up, make sure your pelvis doesn't tuck more, but stays long on the roller. Take a big deep breath. Inhale again. Exhale. See if you can come up a little bit bigger. Inhale again, and then roll yourself back. Same side. Keep that right over the top. Reach back around. Sink the chin into your chest. Inhale. Exhale. Curl up. Inhale. Hold. Lift those elbows up. Exhale and lower back down. Release the arms all the way to the ground. And then try to now take the left arm on top. Reach back for the scapula or at least reach for the shoulders. Inhale, sink the chin. Exhale, re-drop the pelvis so the pelvis isn't tucked up. It's level to the roller. Pick those elbows up a little bit more. And then exhale, roll back. Keep that chin towards the sternum. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, lift the elbows up a little bit higher. And then exhale, roll yourself back. Good. Release the arms all the way out. Turn your head all the way to your right shoulder. Bring your head center. Turn your head all the way to your left shoulder. Bring your head center. Slide your right leg all the way out. Roll off of the roller, and let's just come back and do a real quick reassess on your back. So allowing the shoulders to feel drop down towards the ground. Notice your back as it settles to the floor and that divot might move out from underneath you. Notice your hands more specifically if your arms feel more open and evenly dropped to the ground. if your head weight feels more even and shoulders feel more balanced back. Those are all beautiful direct results. Now taking an indirect approach, notice the glutes, the back of the hamstrings or the feet, if they just feel like they're just more settled into the ground. They may not. They may feel kind of out of control, a little bit tense. And then exhale. Take a nice long deep breath. I want to do one quick thing. I wasn't planning on it, but I'm going to do it anyway. I'm going to take that roller and we're going to go behind the legs. And remember when we curled that roller in and we kind of gave it that smile. So again, remember that roller, it bent kind of in sideways. So take it underneath the back of the legs. Give it that little smile around the back side of your thighs. So as close as you can to the glutes. And I want you to start at back of thigh glide and shear. So we're going to get a little bit of the outside of the hip, a little bit of the inner thigh, upper inner thigh. Both legs pull out, both legs come in. Now, if this is too much work on your hands to hold the roller, then release. And just keep that roller as close as you can to the back of your hips. Let the knees roll out and roll in. Pause, just do one leg. So I'm not letting my foot touch the ground on that one leg. That's moving. And then pause, and then do the other leg. Good, and pause, and then just hold there for a second, and then just roll the knees kind of in and out. A little kind of direct shear, and then pause again. Release the roller. Let's take the feet back and the roller out. I want you to do a real quick reassess of the hips. Arms are down. Notice if the hips just feel a little bit less cockeyed. Mine were feeling just a little bit off, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to jump into it, and maybe yours did too. And then now my hips feel a lot more level, a lot more sunk. My hamstrings even feel like they're touching the ground now. See how nice I am to you guys? Just giving you opportunities all over the place. Slide those feet in. I know. It's a friendly dictatorship, but it's a good dictatorship. Okay. All right, so we're going to go upper back, shoulders. Get that across the T-line of your back. So you want to make sure the shoulders are in the right spot. We're going to go to half back first. So I want you to lift the hips up, drop the hips to the side. My right knee is on the ground. I'm taking my hands behind my head just to begin with. Then I'm going to keep my left hand on and I'm going to take my right hand off. And I'm going to begin to roll my right shoulder. Just feel that nice crunching in the shoulder girdle or in the up on the scapula. Two more. And last one. Take that top elbow up and over and back. Up and over and back, up and over and back. Two more times. Find some fun with it. Up and over and back. Last time. Up and over and back. Good. And then just take that hand there. One or two more circles. We're going to stay on this side. And then we're going to take that right hand behind the head. You're going to roll over. But not all the way. So you're going to still be kind of on your back and your upper arm is just going to be here, just kind of bent. So your left hand is behind your head, your right elbow's in that kind of check mark, and you're going to drop into that kind of middle shoulder. If you want your head to touch, that's fine. But I want you to kind of stay slightly back. And so you're moving that shoulder underneath you. Good. Pause and just move that arm up and down. It should be relatively free. You're kind of on the back side of the armpit. And then pause. Take your top hand and you're going to go night-night. And you're going to roll all the way towards both hands. And then drop in and back. So now you're on the outer part of the shoulder. Drop. So you're lifting your rib wall up. Sinking your rib wall. Two more. And last one.
Take your left hand behind your back, and again, see if you can pump that bottom arm up and down. And then reach out like you're punching and pull. Punch and pull, punch and pull. Not Punch and Judy, not Hawaiian punch, just punch and pull. And then pause. Just let the tissue respond. Let's bring the body back up to center and back behind the head. Good. We're going to do one rinse pass. So you're going to take the roller up to the top of the shoulder, lift the hips up, and then rinse down to your hips. Good. And then let's come up, and then I'm going to turn. Make sure I'm turning nicely. Again, check your arm position, check your shoulder position. Bring your hands behind your head if you want to first. Hips drop, left knee down, left arm out, and begin that shoulder circle. Reaching. Just allow that arm to reach out. You're on the inside of that shoulder blade, underneath that little shoulder cap. Pause. Take that left arm up and over, up and over. You can have palm facing you. You can wave that palm away, sweep around, all different kinds of motion. One more time, take that hand out, and again, roll that shoulder. And last one. Good, so you're gonna take your left hand behind you and just kind of tilt over, not all the way though. And then again, you're gonna roll on kind of the inside of the shoulder. My right hand is still behind my head. I'm lifting my ribs up, dropping my ribs down. Good, pause. Lift and lower that top arm. You can take that elbow up and over. And then pause again. And then we're gonna roll to nanite. Gonna lay on our sides. And then lift the ribs up. And then push into that outer shoulder. Lift the ribs up. And then push into that outer shoulder. Almost like you're sinking your head down and then using that shoulder to push yourself into something. One more time, push, good. And then you're gonna take your hand behind your head. If you can, pump that bottom arm up and down, kind of itching or scratching on the outer part of that shoulder. And then reach your arm out parallel and pull your elbow in toward your rib cage and out. Your thumb stays pointing at the roller. One more time, and then out. And then let's roll back and just let the tissue just settle. Take that roller to the top of the shoulders. Lift those hips up and then roll to the base of the rib cage towards the lower back. One more time, to the top of the shoulders and to the base of the rib cage. Good. Let's pause and then let's roll all the way onto our back again and head down. Legs out, arms out wide. Take a big deep breath and settle to the ground. Notice how the feet drop out. The shoulders may just feel very connected into the floor. The rib cage hopefully feels softened. Let the feet drop. Notice all of the masses, head weight, shoulders, arms, hips, back, calves, feet. Divide the body in half, ankles to nose or ankles to ears. Big deep breath. See if you feel more balanced right and left. Slide those feet. I feel like I don't want to come up because my shoulders feel so down to the ground. I want you to roll to one side and bring yourself up again. And then I want you to check your hand placement on the ground. So gently place your hands on the ground again. a little wider than shoulder's width. Don't pull your thumbs, but just notice your thumbs, and then shift forward and shift back. And notice just any nice better movement in the shoulders, wrist, or back. Noticing less pressure into the thumbs. Turn your hands out about 10 and 2. Maybe that's a little bit easier on the wrist knuckles or forearms. And then again, turn your hands back and see if you can bend those elbows a little bit more with the heel of the hand still staying on the ground, with less pressure or, reduced pressure into your thumbs. Bring your knees into underneath you and sit nice and tall, and we are done. Thank you guys for coming. I'm so glad we had this opportunity tonight. I hope tonight you just sink back into your pillows and you feel refreshed and released and restored. Make sure you drink plenty of whatever's in those water bottles at home and enjoy yourself. Good night.